Welcome to the Mike and JD Show YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. I want you to do me a big favor before you check out this clip. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to throw in a comment and make sure you're a subscriber to this channel. And then I want you to share this video with your friends. Help us defeat the algorithm. And then if you like this content and you appreciate this content, please head over to patreon.com/the Mike and JD Show and support the show. That is how we actually get funded to be able to do this. So we thank you very much for being here. And now enjoy the clip.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you rock your A game. A made no rains on the track when we unite and spit. This is an A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you rock your A game. A made no rains on the track when we.
So damn funny. Hey, I got a movie for you.
Yeah.
I saw a movie this weekend that shocked me at how good it was.
Oh, tell me. I know what you're talking about, but go ahead and tell the people because I want to go see it.
Godzilla Minus One.
I'm looking forward to it,
dude. So my kid loves
you, and a lot of people have been telling me the same thing. So
all right, so here's the deal. My kid loves Godzilla, loves him. And so did I as a kid. Big monster destroying Tokyo. What's not to love? And I always joke that the worst part of the Godzilla movies are the damn human scenes, because who cares what these humans have to think? I just want to watch monsters destroying shit, right? So I brought this into that movie. I said, "Oh, we'll go see it." We had to review it for Superhero Speak. So I'm like, "All right, I'll go watch this movie. It should be fun." Mike, they put a real movie together. This is the story. This is the story of a failed kamikaze pilot. When I say failed, I mean this guy lands on Ado Island and is like, "Oh, my plane doesn't work." And they're like, "Your plane is fine." No, it's not fine. Something's wrong with it. And these mechanics are trying to work on the plane, and oh shit, there's Godzilla on this island. But Godzilla is only like 3 stories tall or 2 stories tall. He's not big. He's big enough to fuck a lot of shit up, but he's not like enormous, right? And the guy gets in the plane to gun down Godzilla. He doesn't think it's going to work, and he can't pull the trigger, right? So then he's like shamed publicly because Godzilla kills a bunch of mechanics, right? And then he goes back to Tokyo, right? And everything is destroyed. Everything's burnt out. Like his parents are dead. Everyone's dead. And he just feels like he's miserable. And he meets this girl and her daughter, and he falls in love, but he can't like give himself to this girl because he's still fighting the war in his head, man. And like he gets a job detonating mines, US and Japanese mines in the water, and they got to go in a boat, in a wooden boat to because they're magnetic mines. And while they're there, what do they see? Fucking Godzilla again, but this time he's been mutated by the Bikini Island tests, and he's enormous. So like, we got to stop him. And they put a mine in his mouth and explodes.
JD, you're not going to spoil the whole thing, are you? Because
I'm going to spoil the whole fucking movie.
I don't want us to get a bunch of hate comments.
Dude, this movie, it's got 1 week left before they pull it to theaters. So if you don't see it now, you're not going to see it. Here's the thing. This is a love story. I'm going to cut to the chase. This is a love story. This works. Right. This is a story about a guy who can't let go of his ultimate failure and falls in love. And like, then his wife, something bad happens, and then he's got to be a kamikaze again. And it's this innately Japanese film of how the samurai culture is constantly at war with the idea of trying to live. And that's the whole idea of the movie is, do we embrace the Bushido, the seppuku method, or do we try to start anew and live again? Set against the background of this monster destroying Tokyo.
Yeah.
It's Mike, it has no business being as good as it is. None.
Well,
it's
dude,
my favorite movie of the year.
I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. And we got Mel G in the chat. Mel, you saw Barbie? I have not seen Barbie, and I don't think I'm ever going to watch it. Now, look, and people that like to watch Barbie, I'm cool. No problem. But when it comes to the movies that I like, I'm about as toxically male as it gets. I want to see Stallone fucking shit up. I want to see people telling mean jokes, right? I want to see explosions, jokes, all that. I want raunchy stuff. Barbie, not for me. Not a Mike Gilbert movie.
I'm less meathead than Mike. Not much, but less. I have a film degree, so I plan on seeing Barbie, but that's a Michelle movie, not a JD movie. So if she wants to watch a movie, we wait till it's available on streaming. If I want to see a movie, I go to the theater to see it immediately because I'm a theater junkie. I love going to the movie theater. She doesn't. Like, she'll go see the Marvel movies at a theater because she likes the spectacle of those movies. And she likes those movies. But we've already committed that when Barbie is on streaming, because Andy not watching Barbie. I've got a 7-year-old. You can't question his masculinity right now. So
Yeah.
we'll see it. I haven't seen it yet, but good things. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it's gonna have the heart of Godzilla Minus One. I can't believe I just said that.
Well, not many things are going to be as good as Godzilla Minus One. Iron Claw
So,
getting some rave
dude,
reviews, man. And
I
some friends of mine went and saw it in the theater because it's out. And then I actually checked; it was here in Hawaii yesterday, and it's
out.
already gone. It's going to be gone for 2 weeks. They did a pre-screening all over, and I think
Do you know
part
why
of AMC Theater or something like
they
that.
also they do that so they can get an Oscar contention for the year. Right. They
Yeah,
do this a lot with those movies. They give them a quick release so they can say this movie came out this year, so it can get a little bit of the Oscar buzz going. I know there was a bad review that Dave had posted of it. Someone had saw it, and my vibe was it wasn't 100% historically accurate. So then Dave kind of shit on it a little bit, and that became the narrative. But every like
yeah.
real film person that I've heard from is like, this is an amazing piece of film, and I am so excited to see the Iron Claw.
Me too. And I got to give some advice to people that are hardcore wrestling fans that probably know that story pretty well, like you and I. Did you listen to the Laps fan cover it? It was so good, so in depth. They did the lamentable tragedy of World Class Championship Wrestling. I saw the Heroes of World Class documentary, saw the WWE documentary, saw the Vice documentary. I love this story, but when you go watch the movie, it's not going to be 100% accurate because they have to crunch it down to about a 2-hour time period, and then they got to sell it to Hollywood. And most of Hollywood does not care about the true story, right? So some of it is going to be Hollywoodized, and you got to just get over it. That's what happens with these movies. And some people just can't seem to wrap their brains around the fact this is a movie and not a documentary. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. Most documentaries aren't. Documentary is not journalism. Right.
Yeah.
All documentarians are telling a story, and not 100% of the real story makes it to any documentary. That's just the nature of storytelling. And when you're
Right.
telling a story, real life doesn't follow the beats of a story. It just doesn't, which is why real life sucks. The movies are better. So, I mean, like, it's not going to work that way. Yes, they cut Chris Von Erich because, let's be honest, Chris Von Erich didn't matter. It just one.
Hey,
it was just the icing on the tragedy cake. I mean, like, I honestly
Fritz
think
didn't even care about Chris Von Erich.
That's accurate. Actually, Fritz
Yeah.
did not care about Chris Von Erich. And like, I think, there's another brother that dies. Come on, that's too much. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's gonna get Mike right, and Carrie, and that's like plenty. That's plenty of death in a film. Like, it's
Apparently they
like,
cut Lance Von Erich out of it, so old MJF didn't make the final cut.
Can I be honest with you? I'm shocked they had Lance Von Erich in it.
I don't know why they would have had, because he was such an unimportant, like, nothing part of that story.
Well,
I got what they were trying to do, because they were trying to, they wanted to bring in a Lance, like a Von Erich cousin. It was supposed to be Waldo's son. It just didn't work, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the tragedy of the story.
I think they brought him in, so they bring in Lance when Carrie loses the foot, right? I don't know, maybe some people, listeners, don't know that. Kerry Von Erich, when you saw Kerry Von Erich as the Texas Tornado in WWF in the early 90s, he didn't have a foot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's this famous angle, and I think it's with Colonel De Beers, and this is, I forget if it's it was pre-WWE. Colonel De Beers rips Carrie's boot off, and everybody's like, holy shit, it's a real thing. It's the first time you saw that Carrie had one foot. Carrie lost his his foot in a motorcycle accident, and they've surgically repaired the foot, and he was all fucked up on drugs, and while he was recovering in the hospital, and saw there was a burger on the table, got up to get the burger and crushed his foot again, and they had to amputate it. So the Kerry Von Erich that we all saw, that most people saw, was wrestling with one freaking foot, which just goes to show you how really great Kerry Von Erich was, which is why he was so much more nimble when he was, in Texas and stuff like that than when he finally got there. So I think the Lance comes in when Carrie, I believe Lance comes in when Carrie's hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they could, or either when Carrie's hurt and when they trotted out Mike, whose brain had almost basically been fried from toxic shock syndrome. God, this movie's going to be hard to watch.
It is, man. It is. Transferring heat in the chat. Our boy, he says, accident happened in 1986. Yeah, I think that's right.
It is right.
Without
86.
actually going to look it up, I'm pretty sure that's right.
I'm
Sounds about
pretty
right.
and I'm pretty sure that's when Lance comes in. Is 86.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the territory is on its ass. Like 83, there's not a hotter territory than WCCW. And we're going to watch that. Mike and I are going to do a watch on Christmas Star Wars from 83. It's going to be awesome. 84, they're still pretty hot. After that, it starts to slip.
Well, so David dies in 84, right?
84.
But Kerry wins the world title, but then he gives it right back. And then Kerry starts slipping, right? And then he ends up, and then like it was just tragedy after tragedy. Because it wasn't just the Von Erich brothers dying, like Gino Hernandez died and like other guys in the territory died. So if you guys have not watched the Heroes of World Class, that's out there, I think you can get on Amazon. Really, really good documentary out there. But
Gino's in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to have Gino. I think. Yeah. I think he's another guy that just died, like gets real hot and then dies. It's like, oh, what a fucking.
He would have been a perfect like long-term foil for them because him and Chris Adams had just formed, they were really hot as the dynamic duo tag team. Dude, fucked up the WCCW was when before Gino dies, they do this angle where Chris, the blind angle, they blinded Chris Adams, right? So they're setting up the dynamic duo feud of Chris Adams and Gino, and Gino dies, and then they have the audacity to go on and say, we've had two tragedies: the death of Gino Hernandez and the blinding of Chris Adams. And it's like, good God, Fritz has zero conscience, which is why this movie is going to be amazing, because they're going to show you what a piece of shit Fritz Von Erich truly was. Like, it's so fucked up.
God, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy playing him, he's a really good actor. I saw him in he was in a boxing TV show that was on FX back in the day. But the guy's really, really good. Speaking of the Von Erichs, speaking of the Von Erichs, they're going to be in AEW this coming up Tuesday. I think you called it right here on the show that the Von Erichs would be in around Christmas time, and sure enough, their winter's coming. It's in Dallas, and we got Kevin and Marshall and Ross coming in, man. Probably a one-night only deal, though, huh?
Mike, if you were struggling to sell tickets, like AEW is struggling to sell tickets, and you run the Texas market as frequently as AEW runs the Texas markets, you'd think that maybe they would hype this a little bit. You would think that maybe they'd show the Iron Claw trailer during. You would think that they would have Max talking about, he's on the show fucking 10 other times talking about nothingness. You think you talk about the movie he's credited as an executive producer on. You'd think you do one of your awesome hype packages that you just fired the guy who makes all those. You'd think you try to get people excited, even if, here's the big secret, Ross and Marshall really aren't that great, but they have a presence, they have an aura. You'd think you'd want to hype this to like make sure people watch, make sure people buy tickets, but in classic AEW fashion, you throw a graphic and say, next week, the Von Erichs.
Don't you dare miss it.
Exactly.
You know what? They really are underselling it, and I think that might get reflected in the ticket sales. I think they're probably not hyping it because this is only going to be a one-time deal. I don't think they're interested in bringing in the Von Erich.
Well,
I mean, they should have did what they did with Mystico, right? They should have called up Court Bauer, got some footage. Like TNA's got a little bit of footage on these guys where they were in Texas.
Noah does.
Kevin doing the claw. Yeah, Noah does. So there's footage out there they could get. They should hype the shit out of it, and and give them a couple of jobbers to beat up, and then send the crowd home happy. Let Kevin do the claw.
The movie's an A24 movie, so it's not even a big studio thing. So I mean, you can easily get A24 to give you some stuff and go, hey, you're gonna promote our movie? Great. It's a low budget film. Like, just this company is so stupid about it's like I feel like we have this conversation all the time, and they're going to do some BOGOs. They're going to put 4,000 in the billing, people, and they're going to be like, "Oh wow, what a great job, AEW selling tickets again!" Like they trip over dollars to pick up dimes constantly. Like Tony Khan has completely lost sight of how to hype these shows. A24 just signed a deal with WWE for streaming rights. So it's right. No, thanks, Joe.
It's right there.
I had no idea about that. Like that's even worse. Get the fucking trailer on your show. Hype this. Get people to see the movie. It's a goddamn wrestling movie that your world champion is in and is an executive producer of. What are we doing? Why is this so difficult? I don't understand. Max has got to be in 18 fucking segments a show, but you can't hype the one thing that's interesting right now. We got to have Roddy Strong screaming at him and all that dumb shit. God, I hate that company.
He's moved to shouting Renee now. Roddy Strong.
At least it's different.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. A made no rains on the track when we unite and spit. This is an A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. A made no rains.